So I was on Threads and a woman asked trainers and coaches what their best tips were for fat loss. And, some of the responses I browsed through and they were your traditional answers: high protein, getting your steps in, eating in a calorie deficit, and getting your sleep. But I found it interesting that nobody mentioned two areas that I'm about to tell you about. And they're basically related in a lot of ways, so I can kind of speak to both of them back and forth. But build acting like you're training to build muscle while in a calorie deficit, and then just training to get really strong, training at an intensity level that allows you to become really strong. I think these two areas are two of the most common areas people lack when they're trying to lose fat because they're so hyper focused on things like cardio, eating less and eating in a calorie deficit, getting the steps in. They're not focused enough on the training piece. And this is the part that can really save you, not just in the short term, but in the long term. So let me explain how. When you're eating in a calorie deficit, what you're doing is you're eating below your body's maintenance range of calories. Because if you've gained weight over time, you've eaten in a surplus of calories. So to lose weight, you have to eat in a deficit. That does place stress on the body, whether we know it or not. That's why you shouldn't be in one long term, and you shouldn't always be in one. But you're going to be in a calorie deficit. But while you're there, you want to train like you're trying to put on muscle. So training style should never change, whether you're trying to lose body fat or whether you're in a phase and season of trying to just put on pure muscle. That's a common mistake I see people make. They change up their training style. They start doing significantly amounts of cardio. Significant amounts of cardio. They start doing all these, um, you know, these like workouts that they think they have to be doing in order to lose body fat. Your training doesn't have to change. That's what the food is for. So when you train, you want to be training with the mentality that I'm trying to build muscle and I'm trying to get really strong. What this does is it's a language to your body and your muscle, especially if you don't already have a lot. And in the 13 years that I've been a trainer, most people, most women, I should say, who come to me, they already are not carrying a lot of muscle because they've never trained to build any. So it's very crucial that you're careful with how you lose weight and the rate at which you lose weight. Because if you're not careful, your weight loss will come from stripping muscle weight. And you won't even know it because you're just getting on the scale and you think I'm losing weight, but it's coming from muscle mass. So the goal is not just fat loss. The goal is to lose body fat while at the very least retaining the muscle that you do have. But if you're new to the training or if you've taken a long layoff and you're coming back, you can build some muscle too. You can build muscle and lose body fat at the same time under certain circumstances. It just depends. But the training intensity has to be at a specific level so that you don't lose muscle while you're losing body fat because you're in a calorie deficit, because there's stress on the body. It's very important that you train in a way, in a fashion that tells your body, tells your muscle, tells your nervous system, hey, I want to keep with what I have. The only way for you to do that is to train hard, to train close to failure every set, to train to where at the end of each set, you should only feel like you could have did 1 or 2 more reps at the very most. But if you could have did 3, 4, 5, 6 more reps, you're not building, you're not retaining, you're conditioning. And when you only condition while you're in a calorie deficit through your training, through your strength training, you're going to lose muscle. So when you lose that weight, guess what? You're going to be worse off than when you started, because yeah, you weigh less, but your body composition is worse off. And you might still be at a high body fat level. And this is the part that people don't know. They think that because they weigh less, that they're in a great position. But if you lost muscle, you worsened your metabolism. Muscle is the metabolism engine to your body. So if you lost muscle, you've worsened your metabolism, and you've probably put on some body fat. And I know you say, well, how did I put on body fat if I'm smaller? No, you just weigh less. You're smaller because you stripped muscle, but you still have fat on your body, and you might have more. So you have to be careful. Changing your workouts every single week. That's an easy way for you to miss out on the opportunity to do what I encourage you to do, which is to get stronger. You can't get stronger if you're always changing up your workouts every week. It doesn't help you. It doesn't create an opportunity for you to do that. What I'm about to say here in closing is, when you train intense enough in a calorie deficit, your body remembers that when you go to a muscle building phase. It has a great memory. That's why it's important to be consistent with how you train, no matter the phase you're in. When you go to a muscle building phase, I'm talking about a season where you're just focusing on putting on muscle tissue. You're not really tripping off of getting the little amounts of body fat that come with that. You're only focusing on building muscle. When you do that, if you did everything right in the calorie deficit with your training, your body remembers. So when you add the food, the calories, because we know when you're trying to just focus on building muscle, you need calories. You need more calories. It says, oh, we got more calories to use? I can handle this because of how you've trained during your calorie deficit. And I actually did this recently with 2 of my clients. They started out, and I think that they were both eating like 1,500 plus calories to start in a calorie deficit. We wanted to start cutting body fat first. Gave them a high protein plan, high protein calorie deficit. And they were full at first because they weren't used to eating that much protein. We had high nutrient dense foods, more food, but high nutrient dense. So that means the calories were lower. And that's what allowed us to put them in a deficit. But we went so many weeks, and then we said, let's do an increase. Let's see if your metabolism can handle the increase in calories. So we increased, no body fat gain. Weight still in the same range. Perfect place to be in with your body, because now your body, you've trained it to handle more calories. Your body understands, your body remembers. The goal isn't just fat loss, it's metabolic stability. It's healthy metabolism. It's getting your body to be able to handle more calories over time so that you're not so married and imprisoned to a low calorie diet. If you always have to diet down, you'll never improve your body composition. You'll never be toned because you need muscle to be toned. And what does muscle need? More calories. So I know I kind of went off stage a little bit, but it's all connected to my original message, which is train hard and train intense. And if some people don't know how to do that, I can tell you, but most people don't know what it feels like. They don't know what their limit is and how to get to their limit. But train hard, close to failure, intense, while you're in a calorie deficit. Train to get really strong. Train with the mentality that I'm trying to put on muscle. And then eventually, because we don't want to be in a calorie deficit forever, we want to increase that over time, those calories. But when we go up to maintenance calories, you should be able to lose body fat and build muscle with more calories. And this is what we're doing with two of my clients that I'm telling you about. They're now eating 2,000, 2,200, 2,300 calories a day from 1,500. That's a 600 to 700 calorie increase, but there's no body fat gain. We train them for that. We train their metabolism, so we train their body. But it started with the foundation while in the calorie deficit. So if you're always in a calorie deficit, always need to be in one, dieting down, you're never going to see that body composition improve. The goal is not just weight loss. The goal is not just fat loss. It's body composition improvement. It's metabolic stability. It's healthier metabolism.